I used to be a sports writer for the Akron Beacon Journal for 15 years, covered everything from high school, college, and the NBA. Covered St. V and LeBron when he was a freshman from his freshman year. Actually, since sixth grade when he was playing AAU with LeBron, or Sheon, Willie, Drew, Romeo, all of those guys. Covered him all through 4 years in high school, and was able. You hear everybody coming down the street. Gloria and LeBron let me write the first book about LeBron, so that's how a lot of people know me about my book.
So what do you think about this?
You know what? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the night that I covered the NBA lottery, the draft lottery, because everybody knew LeBron was going to be the #1 pick. Actually, his junior year, I remember reading a Sports Illustrated article, and Danny Ainge had said that if LeBron was coming out that year, he would be one of the top 5 picks, and that was as a junior. So the draft lottery reminds me of the draft lottery because you knew he was going to be the #1 pick. But Cleveland was just hoping that they got that #1 pick because they knew it was going to be LeBron. And it's kind of like that same excitement because before the draft lottery, you didn't really know. People were on pins and needles. It's kind of like a hush over the city, especially in Akron. And then when the Cavaliers got the #1 pick, it was just euphoria. And that's how it feels now.
He's never forgot Akron or Bath or...
Right. You know, I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about LeBron, and that's what I got to know from him when I covered him, is the fact that, you know, he's a loyal guy. Now, forget about the decision. You know, he had been here for 7 years, been here all of his life. But, you know, at that point in his career, he decided it was time to move on and try to win a championship. But he was still, you know, a lot of people talked about the way he did that decision, and I totally understand. And everybody says, even Charles Barkley says, you know, it was dumb the way he did it. However, he learned. He was young, immature, and I think this time around it's similar, but it's even better because now you know what you're getting. Before, when he was a rookie and we got the #1 pick, you didn't know what you were getting. You knew you were getting a future NBA All-Star, but he hadn't played a minute in the NBA, so you really didn't know what you were going to get. Now you have a proven winner, a championship winner, an All-Star, so you know what you're going to get. So I think it makes it a lot precious. Another thing is this, you know, what's going to be important this time around is the fact that in that absence, you think about when he was here, just to put it in a practical sense of how community is so important in Northeast Ohio and how we follow our sports. When LeBron was playing for the Cavs before, I mean, people would come home, suburban, city, urban, wherever. They would come home, eat dinner, and have dinner off the table by 6:55 so they could hear Michael Regai and Austin Carr, and so they could watch that game and go to school the next day, and the young kids would talk about LeBron and, hey, did you watch the game? Even in Akron, you have the grandmothers who support LeBron. I mean, you have all these groups. I mean, LeBron brought different people together from different demographics. It didn't matter if you were from the suburbs, from Strongsville, from Youngstown, Warren. You know, everybody came together to watch the game, and you knew they were going to be on national TV. So that's what was missing, and not to mention that, you know, the financial, economic factors. All the people downtown who no longer have those jobs because, you know, LeBron and the Cavs were bringing in so many people. And so it's just amazing how for those years, kind of almost like, it's not in the same vein because, you know, we all know this is a Browns town. But it's kind of like when the Browns left for 3 years. You know, people's lives were disrupted because that became a fabric of who they were. So, excuse me, man. Let me finish this up if you don't mind. But when the Browns left, you know, you had that void, and the Browns, you know, were embedded in people's fabrics of their lives. You know, it's kind of not to that degree, but families loved watching, you know, the Cavs, you know, when they come home, moms, dads, grandmas. You know, for me, I know my mom, I've never heard her talk about the Cavaliers until they had LeBron. And then she would call me in the morning and say, did you watch that game? And I thought I was talking to, it wasn't the same person. I thought a body snatcher came and took my mom's body over. So I think that's what he means to the city. And that's why you see so many people so excited.
Name your book again. Make sure we got it.
Oh, my book. The book is called it's called LeBron James: The Rise of a Star, and it was the first book written about LeBron. It was I got the support of LeBron and Gloria, and I hate to self-promote it, but it's a good book about LeBron's struggles and how he came from, just from adversity to be where he is today. And the fact that, he was so loyal with his teammates and how important that is to any young people, whether you're a girl, boy, old, young, whatever. It's all about working hard, believing in yourself, having loyalty to your friends, and the fact that, if you believe in something, you can overcome it and you can do whatever you want to do as long as you work hard.
Good. Anything you want to add on that? Think about?
Let's see here, and I appreciate that. No, I just once again, I love the fact that, LeBron coming back brings this community, Northeast Ohio, the region, because so many people love to watch the Cavaliers and LeBron. A lot of people felt like LeBron was like they had some kind of connection with him, even though they didn't know him. They felt like, that was my son or nephew. And I think he brings that back, but with so much more maturity. And I love his Sports Illustrated article or just what he talked about, why he came back, because that's the heartfelt LeBron that I really remember. Forget about everything else, the extenuating circumstances. This is what I want. This is what's right for me. And that's what you see now. And that's the real LeBron that I think everybody kind of remembers.
I think it's appropriate that he was the first high school kid on Sports Illustrated and then he comes back.
You know what? I think that it's funny how everything goes in full circle. And you never thought that he would come back, but I think it's kind of prophetic that here he is, at St. Vincent St. Mary. It's kind of funny because I was covering LeBron then, and I remember when that article came out, and you go outside of St. V, and there were old men out there trying to get his autograph, and it was just like, the Beatles or I don't know, one of the Drake or somebody like that who rolled into town. So it's got that same feel, but it's even better because now you know what you have with LeBron. You have a proven winner, and it's funny how from what I'm hearing, the Cavs are one of the favorites to win the championship, and you go in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, you go from a team that's in disarray, that's just struggling since he's left, to a team now, to this day right now, is a favorite to win the championship in just one decision. So, you talk about, the decision 4 years ago, this decision here has just created such a great euphoria because now Cleveland's got a chance to win a championship.